What's up, guys? Hit that like, hit that subscribe, and share. 35% off. Discord for my birthday. My birthday's coming up, I think, next week, next Sunday or someday. I'm kind of change it up a little bit, reviewing wise. Trying to record everything on my main screen, so I'm looking kind of towards the camera, or I'll be not like this the whole time because usually I record on my side monitors. But go ahead and just gonna go over what happened today. I'm gonna start doing these. I wish I could do these daily, but I'll do the best I can with doing these. So off the bat, just look at ES. We're in this single print. We had that previous all-time highs. Previous all-time highs. We had like a weak high yesterday that really wanted to be cleaned up. They took it up overnight, but I always like to have it confirm with it being RTX too. So we're still in this basically 30-minute fair value gap single print that was created. Finally broke over it after hours, but pretty much what the market's doing, RTX is just today took out yesterday's lows, took out the highs. You know, Friday our sell-off took out the highs, went to the lows. You know, this has kind of been a little theme lately where we're taking out previous days highs and lows. But going into it, we had the like 6,500, yes, 6,490. Definitely want to see. Last week's close was 6,491. We've kind of gone nowhere, sideways. So, you know, play outside in, play outside in, play outside in. You can go move to kind of the most valuable contract at 945. And 30. Delta. And noon. So, you know, off the bat, we were kind of looking pretty decent at the high at 945. We'll go SPX, kind of look at where we are at 945. Just hanging out. I always mention, you know, 6,500 psych level is going to be tricky. You can tell every time we're around it, we're kind of chopping. You can go back. You don't want to kind of like short against it or long into it. I'm not the biggest fan of playing the 6,500 level, especially like when you look at this price action. Overall, just sideways. So at 945, we had 6,520 as the highest, but we also had 6,480 at the lowest. You know, looking at 945 right here, nothing really happened. Yeah, auto buy 6,520. That's way up here. I was kind of decently money, but you could tell yesterday and today's most valuable contracts were about the same. 1030 rolled up. Notice how this changed, just one big outlier changed to kind of becoming more of a wall. You know, kind of 4 came up. I think it got more prominent as time went on. Or actually, it was from like 10 to 1030. So look, so 1026, how prominent it was. So to get through that, I was like, you know, it's a wall. That's what I consider a wall. You don't want to, you know, if we get to 6510, we're going to get to 6515. Like, we're going 5 points, and it's going to take a time to get through those 5 points. Downside was looking a little interesting. At this time, let's look at Delta. Delta at 1030. You know, we kind of had strange. You know, Delta is going to be what they are net at that strike. So 6,500, they're net short at 6,500. When they get in the money at 6,500, probably looking to take profits. You know, 6,500 was gamma wise was just turning red. So when I see that, I think I alerted today that kind of, mixed signals. You look at individuals too, a lot of mixed signals. And then let's look at 12. Make that one bigger. 12 o'clock gamma, kind of the same thing. We had 6510, so we kind of moved down, and then 6480. So that's why I moved 1030. It was more like 1030, 11 was that right there. If you've auto bought that at noon, pretty much would have had the bottom here. Let's go and look at what let's go and look at the contract. I always like to double check these. So 6410, let's just go for 6510. Let's go 6515. Call XPX at noon. Was 0.48, went to a high here at 2.27, and then let's just look at something kind of closer to money, because 0.48 I'm not really going to grab and want something a little bit closer. 0.8 to 4.12, that's a pretty solid win just by looking at that switch from when we went to 6420 to 6410, or 6520 to 6510. Net drift kind of was really beautiful today. Both were above zero. We had the bearish cross right here at 1016. Would have saw that nice move down. You tell kind of at the low today, calls started coming up, puts started coming down. They started getting closer and closer, and they flipped at 1207. I just want to mark that up so I can. There's 1207 on the 1 minute right here. If we would have got those contracts at 1207, it's been about 0.8 to about the same thing. But overall, pretty bullish, which is interesting is that 1207 flip, we kind of came back and retested it and then continued up. Let's look at Delta. I need to, these are hard to see at the end of day, because at the end of the day, exposure gets so strong. I need to start, let me see if I took a picture. But I'll have to do that next time. I'll have to take pictures throughout the day, because I wish I could just kind of rewind it a little bit. You can tell red came in, red deltas came in here, we dropped, and then it started turning positive about 1, and kind of have like a little melt up, took forever. Let's go over kind of what we saw here. This was a beautiful retest, kind of the lower time frame. We had these stacked in balance right here. Retested, came new high, broke down. You can tell previous low. I wish we would have saw bids there, kind of some big orders there to continue us up. VWAP, this seemed like exactly like yesterday. VWAP kind of held us down and eventually broke above. This chart's kind of been my decent chart. I need to mark this up more, but kind of right here. I think this was Friday's close about. A lot of positive delta. Then we had this one outlier here at 65.16, which is almost around where, I mean, that would be better. Kind of around where Thursday close was, where they de-risked for MOS, or for, they de-risked for NFP. You can tell that was kind of holding us down. And then up here, we kind of had this outlier, which was 65.32. That was kind of my upper PT. And we hit that after hours beautifully. And then we're kind of holding this level. But if we go to this one, no, daily. So I've been kind of watching, this is like the 4 hour since we're, overall, consider us in a kind of a 4-day balance, or value area, value area, value area, value area. We're kind of in a balance 4 days in a row. We're just kind of in this price action. So what I did here was that summary is 4-day. I'm pretty sure it's not RTH only, but it doesn't really matter. We're looking at, I wish I could rewind it, but this level, 6492, 6490, was a really strong low volume node. That was a pretty decent pullback area. They're going to hold this 4-day POCs at the high, so they like value up here. And that looked up. And then that pretty much showed most of today. TPO wise was nice because they kept all these. We broke down. We kind of created a double top on the 30-minute, and that's what I consider a weak high, just not a complete auction until we took that out. And then also up here, KL high. I believe it was the M high too. It was kind of the same thing. I have these green because I kind of wanted to see kind of the L period to do a late afternoon. I was kind of watching these a late afternoon kind of scalp hunt here or to here. I would have looked at 12 to 10 to possibly bring it back up. Usually when we're sideways like that, they want to look for afternoon buyers, and they'll bring it down and then pop it up really nice. Sorry, I'm kind of like leaning into my mic. I need to get my arm. That's why I'm like way off the camera. And I'll just go through some other stocks quickly. So we had, Apple event was huge today. Apple event usually a sell, but like I said to the team, I don't like to sell into the event to sell more. I don't like that. I want to see, the really sell, and for me to be really convinced that would sell, I want to kind of see like this push up and the event be here. I would definitely look for puts because you don't want to long at the highs. So I always like to see, you can tell a lot of my earnings plays are kind of the same thing, where I want to see this pattern. I don't want to have something run into earnings and then continue to run into earnings. But Apple did hit kind of this previous level I was watching. 234, if not, it's going to go down to 230. Seems pretty decent, but we'll see how that manages. NVIDIA, beautiful move. 2 days in a row. Look at this. 2 days in a row. Okay. We had this yesterday, net drift. Super bullish, huge spike. 4 million into December 170 calls. And then it sells because it was reported that Jensen was selling shares all week. So that made it drop. But overall, looking at that's bullish. And then today we kind of had the same thing. We had a huge spike into November 21st, 170 calls. Another huge spike here. Same thing, 170 calls. I wonder what those 170 calls are going to be tomorrow. I'll have to write that down. 2.5 million into 180 calls. I should have followed that. If I wasn't already in it, I would have followed it. But another day, bullish net drift. But yesterday, what happened? He sold here. I think I got in about here. So I was almost going to trim at 2.2 or 1.2. When we came down, we actually held a level that I didn't have originally, but we had pretty decent support, turned into resistance, support. And then Oracle earnings after hours, sending it up to 175. We're in 180 calls for next week. I hope next week. If not, it's weeklies. But definitely gonna be pretty good if PPI holds it up. Definitely want to see 172 to hold. That'd be beautiful. Amazon, this one I missed out on. Beautiful resistance, resistance, resistance. Breaks above, becomes support. I know a lot of people do this. Do it like this. This is how I love to do my options, and then it perfectly hidden an estimated move, and you can tell. Look at what happened when it hit estimated move the first time. Up here. One, two, B2, beautiful rejections of estimated move. Though that means that level works good. There's no reason. Of course, it probably is going to break above. AMD. If I wasn't in the video, I probably would have looked at AMD, just taking out this previous wick here. And I think I might have gotten AMD here. Can I just liquidity grab all the spaces? I was looking for that. GME, we're in 2209 equity. IBIT kind of struggling on this one. Swing. SMCI was another one. I was actually waiting for SMCI to come down just a little bit more. Kind of like adjust that downtrend. I don't really like that to be the downtrend. Looks a little bit better. But on a higher time frame, I was looking for right here. I like to have the right there. I would have loved to get a liquidity grab there. From high to low, you know, it's holding at 0.618. Just didn't want to come down. I missed it. Other things, I'm trying to figure out what other tickers. I mean, that was pretty much it. So that's going to be it for today, guys. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Let's kill it again tomorrow.